from the Philippines at marami po sa ating mga kababayan doon ang naghihintay ng kanilang mga petition na ma-approve or maging current yung kanilang mga petition dito po sa Amerika. Pero minsan sa sobrang tagal ng paghihintay, you know, some of them can't put their life on hold, ika nga, no? So kapag na-in love, nagpapakasal, hindi na naiisip na they were petitioned as a single individual at mukhang pagka ganun ang nangyari, eh hindi na yun i-honor yung pagiging petition sa kanila. Yan po ang pag-usapan natin ngayon sa American Dream.
This American Dream segment is brought to you by Aquino & Lowe Law Firm, answering your immigration questions.
Attorney Allison Aquino ang ating kababayan kompanyera sa Aquino & Lowe Law Firm, also a certified specialist pagdating sa usapin ng immigration. Hello and welcome to Kababayan LA.
Hi, Janelle.
Allison, let's talk about this common scenario. You know, family-based petitions usually takes a while, and if you're petitioned, if you're overaged or you've aged, you're over 21, and you're petitioned as a single individual, and then you can't wait because the waiting period is so long, and then you get married. What happens?
Yes, Janelle, the scenario that you just described is rather common for individuals from the Philippines, precisely because, as you point out, the waiting period for an individual who is sponsored by a green card holder parent historically has taken a very long time. And so while individuals are waiting for their green card, essentially they go ahead and they get married, and some individuals also have children. A lot of individuals, they get tempted because they've been waiting for so long, and so when they go forward with the green card processing at the U.S. Embassy, they do not disclose the fact that they have already gotten married.
Okay, so actually there's two things that they can do, Allison. The first one is some people think they can plead with a consul and say that they actually got married and ask maybe they can get their petition extended. Does that commonly happen? Do they usually do that?
No, and even if you beg and plead and you have a lot of equities that are on your side, unfortunately, the laws do not allow the consul to just simply, issue the green card.
Okay.
The laws are very clear.
And what are the chances that people who lie about it get away? You're married with kids, but then you go there for interview and you say that, nope, you're single.
Well, it happens, and certainly I can't say it happens a lot, but there are many individuals who are able to get away with committing the fraud. They do get the green card, and those are individuals with or without children. And a lot of people with children, they also do not include the children because then, especially from the Philippines, most people don't have children unless they are married.
Okay.
And so many people don't reveal the fact of the marriage as well as the children themselves.
And the problem is, like you said, it is a fraud. What are the consequences should they be caught with it, committing it?
Correct. Well, if they are at least successful with committing the fraud and they get the green card and they come into the United States, many individuals get tempted to continue perpetuating the fraud.
Okay.
If an individual continues to perpetuate the fraud, for example, by getting married a second time and then trying to proceed on a petition just simply based on that second marriage, the chances of obtaining a waiver are quite small.
Okay.
Individuals need to realize that there is a waiver for individuals who commit that type of fraud, but you need to make sure that you haven't committed additional fraud, otherwise you will not be granted a waiver.
Okay, aside from that requirement, what are the other requirements for being eligible for this waiver?
Yes, so if individuals finally want to get their record straight, and that way once they get their record straight, then they can go ahead and proceed with petitioning their family members. The individual needs to be able to qualify for a waiver called the 237A1H waiver. Under that waiver, the individual needs to have a qualifying relative, either a parent, spouse, or child who is a U.S. citizen or green card holder. Naturally, they were petitioned as a family member, so most individuals, all individuals, are going to have the necessary qualifying relative. And in fact, there was a recent court case that indicates that even if your qualifying relative has already passed away, you can actually still proceed with a waiver.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so, one nice thing.
And some people think that just because everything is on the web, online, and they can just follow, get the forms and fill it out and stuff like that, they can proceed with doing these things on their own. What is the need for a lawyer like yourself?
Well, certainly for a waiver application, you cannot proceed on your own. These waivers are quite complex. They can only be submitted in removal proceedings in front of a judge. And because of the fact that the individual has already committed fraud, naturally the burden is on them. They need to be able to prove that they're worthy of receiving a waiver. So in addition to having the qualifying relative, it's really the job of the attorney to be able to convince the judge that they have favorable factors, such as other family members who are in the U.S., that they are working in the United States, contributing, paying taxes, that there might be health issues that require them to be here in the U.S. So they need to be able to convince a judge that they have favorable factors that outweigh the fraud that they had committed.
And that is why we thank you and Attorney Richard Lowe, also at Aquino and Lowe Law Office, for giving free office consultation. Thank you so much for helping our kababayans.
Thank you, Janelle. Always a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Attorney Allison Aquino. They do charge if you want to do a phone or email consultation, so just call them and make an appointment right now. When we return on the show, some interviews from the Philippines. Don't go away.